My brothers, my sisters, sons and daughters of Africa and of the great black world spread across the oceans, listen to me today. For too long we have been told that power does not belong to us. They made us believe we must ask before we lead, beg before we build, and thank them for what was always ours. But I stand here to tell you, those days are over. We are not the property of any empire. We are not the shadow of another civilization. We are Africa, the cradle of humanity, the land whose spirit still beats inside every black heart from Harlem to Haiti, from Dakar to Detroit. Our chains did not break when they fell from our wrists. They broke the day we decided to think freely, and that moment has come again. They tell us to follow, I say lead. They tell us to wait, I say move. They tell us to compromise, I say remember who you are. I do not speak only for Burkina Faso. I speak for every child who has known hunger, while others feast on what our land provides. I speak for every young mind told that success means leaving home instead of building it. And I speak for the black world that has forgotten its strength because it was taught to doubt its reflection. The time for fear is gone. The time for apology is gone. Now is the time for unity. Not the unity of slogans, but of purpose. The kind that builds, defends, and owns. Africa does not need saviors. Africa needs sons and daughters who stand upright, who know that freedom is not granted, it is taken, protected, and preserved. My message is simple. We will no longer serve interests that are not our own. We will no longer trade our dignity for loans, nor our future for permission. We will rise as one black world, disciplined, sovereign, and unbreakable, because this is the awakening, and we, all of us, are the generation that will finish what our ancestors began. My brothers and sisters across the seas, in America, in the Caribbean, in Europe, hear me well. For centuries they have worked to separate us. They told you that Africa was lost, and they told us that you had forgotten us. They built oceans not just of water but of lies, to keep the black world divided and silent. But I tell you today, that bridge they destroyed, we will rebuild it, not with stone, not with steel, but with truth, discipline, and unity. You in the diaspora, you are Africa's heartbeat abroad. You are not guests in the nations that profit from your labor. You are descendants of kings, queens, warriors, and builders. The soil that raised us still calls your name, not to return in body, but to return in spirit, to return in purpose. For too long, they have used our separation as a weapon. They told you Africa is poor, so you would never look back. They told us the diaspora forgot us, so we would never reach out. They made us believe we were strangers to each other, when in truth, we are one nation scattered across continents. When you raise your voice for justice in the streets of America, that fight is mine too. When we defend our land from exploitation in Africa, that struggle is yours too. The enemy is not a flag or a border. The enemy is the system that thrives on our division. I do not speak to ask for sympathy. I speak to awaken responsibility, because the time has come for the sons and daughters of Africa, wherever they live, to stand together again. We must trade not only goods, but knowledge. We must share not only pain, but vision. And we must remember, no one will respect a divided people. Let this century be the one where Africa and her diaspora stand as one family, one power, one destiny. You may live in New York, London, or Kingston, but Africa lives in you. And when we finally move as one, the world will remember who taught it the meaning of civilization. I do not stand before you to ask for permission. I stand to remind you that power does not wait to be granted. It is taken by those who believe in their purpose. For too long, we have allowed others to define our destiny. They drew borders across our lands, wrote our history in their language, and taught us to measure progress by how close we sit to their tables. But I say this clearly, the age of dependency is over. A new generation of Africans has awakened. We do not seek to imitate anyone. We seek to rebuild what was broken, by force of mind, by unity of purpose, and by pride in who we are. We are not children to be supervised. We are builders of a continent that once fed empires and will now feed itself. I look into the eyes of our youth, engineers, farmers, thinkers, and soldiers, and I see strength no colonizer can erase. We are not poor, we are robbed. We are not weak, we are divided. And that division ends with us. They will call us rebels because we refuse to kneel. They will call us dreamers because we see Africa not as it is, but as it can be. Let them call us what they wish. We do not seek their approval. Our goal is not to impress the world, it is to restore our dignity. To my brothers and sisters beyond Africa, your struggle mirrors ours. You face oppression in polished forms, systems that smile while they strangle. Know this, every act of courage you take abroad fuels our resolve here at home, and every victory we win on African soil belongs to you as well. We will rebuild this continent with our own hands. We will educate our children to think freely and act boldly, and we will protect our land as the sacred inheritance of generations yet to come, because the future does not belong to those who wait. It belongs to those who stand, who build, who refuse to bow. And today I say before the whole world, Africa has stood up. Unity, this is the word they fear the most. Because the day Africa and her children unite, the balance of power on this planet will change forever. They taught us to love our borders more than our brothers. They gave us flags, languages, and religions, not to guide us, but to divide us. They told the Nigerian he is not the same as the Ghanaian, the Jamaican not the same as the Burkinabe, the African American not the same as the African. But I ask you, who benefits when we remain divided? It is not us. True unity is not built on slogans or conferences. It begins when the farmer in Mali and the scientist in Chicago understand they are part of the same story. One producing, the other innovating, both fighting for freedom in different forms. Unity is when we start to control our own narrative, our own resources, our own education, when we stop exporting gold and importing poverty. When our artists, our thinkers, and our inventors collaborate across oceans, not for applause, but for advancement. The Black world must understand, unity does not mean uniformity. We do not need to think alike to move together. We need only to agree that our liberation will never come from outside, and that no one else will build it for us. The future will not be negotiated in Paris or Washington. It will be built in Accra, in Kingston, in Atlanta, in Bamako, by people who have stopped waiting for validation and started building infrastructure, knowledge, and self-respect. They will call this arrogance. I call it awakening, because no people ever rose from dependence with permission. So I say to the Black world, let us reconnect our strength. Let us exchange not pity, but power. Let our trade be fair, our minds be free, and our solidarity be unbreakable. One people, one mission, to reclaim what was taken and to restore what was forgotten. Not for revenge, but for responsibility. Because the day we stand as one, we won't need to demand respect. The world will have no choice but to give it. The greatest battle we face today is not fought with guns or tanks. It is fought in the mind. They have learned that conquering the body is temporary, but conquering the mind can last for generations. They no longer need to chain us. They have taught us to chain ourselves. They make us believe their systems are superior, their products more valuable, their skin more beautiful, and without realizing it, we start to imitate the same world that once enslaved us. That is how the modern colonization works, through education that erases, through media that humiliates, through economies designed to keep us begging. But I tell you today, a colonized mind cannot build a free nation. If we want to reclaim our destiny, we must first reclaim how we think. We must teach our children that they are not descendants of slaves, they are descendants of survivors, that the history of Africa did not begin with suffering, but with creation, with knowledge, with greatness. The world will tell you that your past is shame. I tell you, your past is proof. Proof that even when the world tried to erase us, we endured. We are still here, still standing, still rising. So, I say to every young African, every young Black man and woman across the world, protect your mind. Do not let your education make you forget who you are. Do not let social media convince you that imitation is progress. Progress is not copying. Progress is creating. We must rebuild the African spirit that believes in itself, that designs, invents, and governs with conviction. Because if they can shape how we think, they will always control what we build. Let this generation be the one that breaks those invisible chains. Let us own our ideas, our narratives, our inventions, and our image. The world has stolen enough from Africa. They will not have our minds too. The new revolution begins not on the battlefield, but in the classroom, the studio, the farm, and the mind of every awakened African. That is where freedom is forged. My brothers and sisters, freedom without economic control is an illusion. We can raise our flags and sing our anthems, but if others still own our wealth, we are not free. We are managed. Look around you. Our gold, our oil, our cocoa, our cobalt. The world feeds on Africa while Africa hungers. We export the foundation of civilization and import poverty. We send raw material and receive finished chains. That is not partnership. That is extraction. They taught us to sell cheap and buy expensive, to dig and never design, to work and never own. They tell us to compete, yet they write the rules. But I say this to you, the day Africa begins to produce for itself, to process what it grows and to manufacture what it consumes, that will be the day the world truly changes. We must stop trading our future for loans and our dignity for aid. Every dollar borrowed with conditions is another chain placed around our children. True development will never come from begging, it will come from building. We have engineers capable of designing our own infrastructure, scientists able to innovate, farmers able to feed the continent. All we need is belief and organization. The wealth of Africa is not in her soil alone, but in her people. And to the black diaspora, your capital, your skills, your influence, these are not tools for the West. They are weapons for our own liberation. Invest not just in profit, but in purpose. Let the sons and daughters abroad become shareholders in Africa's rebirth. When we own what we create, we dictate our destiny. When we build our own industries, we write our own future. This is what I mean when I say sovereignty, not isolation, but independence. We will no longer allow our economies to serve foreign masters. We will no longer measure growth by how much we please those who exploit us. Our progress must feed our people, not their stock markets. The time has come to shift from consumers to creators, from dependents to decision makers, because only those who own can truly be free. And I promise you, Africa will be free. My people, freedom is not a gift. It is a debt paid in courage. Those who rule this world will not hand us independence wrapped in kindness. They will fight to keep their control. Over our land, our voices, our future. When we speak of sovereignty, they call us radicals. When we defend our resources, they call us dictators. When we unite our people, they call it danger. But I ask you, danger to whom? Every African leader who has dared to put his nation first has faced the same machine. Propaganda to discredit him, sanctions to starve his people, and betrayal from within. They fear not our armies, but our awakening. Because a people who understand their power cannot be controlled by debt, religion, or fear. I have no illusions about the road ahead. They will isolate us, attack us, call us names. But if the price of freedom is standing alone for a season, then so be it. Because I would rather walk with truth in isolation than sit in comfort with chains. Let the world know, we are not against anyone. We are for ourselves. We are not preaching hatred. We are preaching dignity. We seek not war, but respect. We seek not revenge, but balance. And I say to the young generation, do not be afraid of resistance. Do not be shaken when they mock or threaten you. That is the noise that always comes before victory. Our ancestors fought without technology, without resources, and still they endured. We have far more knowledge, connection, and the will to rise. But courage remains the price. We will build alliances among the honest, and we will stand firm against the exploiters. We will protect those who build and expose those who sell us out. And we will never again trade our sovereignty for promises written in foreign tongues. Yes, the road to freedom is steep, but I would rather climb that mountain on my feet than live forever on my knees. Because once a people learn to stand, no force on earth can make them bow again. My brothers and sisters, I stand before you not as a ruler, but as a servant of a dream, the dream of a free and united black world. A world where no African child sleeps hungry, while the wealth beneath their feet feeds foreign markets. A world where the descendants of Africa, wherever they live, walk with their heads high, knowing that the color of their skin is not a burden, but a crown. That dawn is not a fantasy, it is a process, and it has already begun. I see it in the students refusing to let Western education define their worth. I see it in the artists who paint our pain and our power in the same stroke. I see it in the engineers, the farmers, the thinkers who are building from the ground up, not waiting for aid, not asking for permission. And I see it in you, my brothers and sisters across the ocean, who carry Africa in your spirit even when the world tries to erase it from your memory. You are not outsiders to this movement, you are the missing piece. The blood that runs through my veins is the same blood that built your cities, sang your blues, and endured your struggle. We must now turn that shared pain into shared purpose. No more empty pride, no more speeches without action. Let our unity be economic, cultural, and political. Let our hands build together what centuries of division tried to destroy. The future will not wait for us. Either we move now, or we watch another generation inherit the same wounds. To the black child watching me tonight, you are not too small to change the world. You are the reason we fight, the proof that Africa is not finished, only interrupted. The new African dawn is not coming tomorrow, it is rising today. It rises in our choices, our courage, our cooperation, and when the black world moves as one, nothing, no empire, no system, no deception will ever silence us again. So stand tall wherever you are, because the new era of the black world has begun, and it begins with you. My people, hear me one last time. The world will try to silence us. They will try to twist our message, divide our ranks, and buy our loyalty. But what they cannot do is kill an idea whose time has come. That idea is Africa standing tall. That idea is the black world rising again, not as victims, but as visionaries, not as beggars, but as builders. So I say this to every son and daughter of Africa, from the continent to the diaspora: stand firm, protect each other. Speak truth even when it trembles in your throat, because history is watching us now. And when the story of this century is written, let it be said that we were the generation that restored the black world's pride, its unity, and its power. My brothers and sisters, politics may control borders, but it is culture that controls destiny. They could take our land, but they could never take our rhythm. Even when they burned our kingdoms, our drums kept beating. Even when they chained our bodies, our spirit kept singing. That is why they fear our culture, because it carries memory, it carries truth, it carries resistance. Our music, our art, our language, these are not entertainment. They are weapons of identity. Every song, every dance, every design is a declaration that Africa still lives, and she will not die quietly. But today, our culture is under attack, not with fire, but with imitation. They copy our sound, our fashion, our slang, and then sell it back to us with their label on it. They turn our genius into trends, our struggle into marketing. We must reclaim what we create, own our stories, our media, our images. Let the world consume Africa, but let Africa control the supply. And to the diaspora, your culture is our bridge. Hip-hop, reggae, gospel, Afro beats. These are not genres. They are messages, carrying the same heartbeat in different rhythms. When you rise on stage, when you paint, when you film, when you write, you are speaking to your ancestors. Culture is the soft power of liberation, and when it is guided by truth, it becomes unstoppable. So let us build schools that teach not just formulas, but identity. Let us raise artists who know they are more than performers. They are storytellers of nations, because whoever controls the culture controls the consciousness, and whoever controls the consciousness controls the future. I speak now to the youth, the children of the rising sun, the ones who scroll through chaos yet still dare to dream. You are the generation my people prayed for, the one that carries both the wound and the weapon. You were born in a world that profits from your confusion. They distract you with noise so you forget your power. They sell you comfort so you never question control. But you were not born to imitate. You were born to ignite. You are the architects of a new civilization. You have the tools we never had: connection, knowledge, speed. But with power comes responsibility. Do not use your brilliance to beg for relevance in their systems. Use it to build systems of your own. Our ancestors fought for survival. We fight for sovereignty. You must fight for mastery, the mastery of mind, of economy, of technology, of self. There will be temptations, money that buys silence, fame that kills purpose, comfort that breeds obedience. Reject them all. Because history does not remember those who watched, only those who acted. The black world does not need spectators. It needs guardians, builders, thinkers, defenders. I may not live to see the Africa we dream of, but you will. And when that dawn comes, may you remember this: freedom is not inherited, it is maintained. Do not let your comfort become your cage. Keep your spirit awake, because the sun that rises over Africa will also rise over you. And when it does, may it find you standing tall, unafraid, united, and ready. When the drums fade and the speeches end, what will remain are our choices. Every revolution begins with words, but it survives through action. And this movement, this awakening of the black world, will live or die by what we do next. We cannot return to silence. We cannot allow the world to reduce our rise to a moment of applause. This must become a culture, a discipline, a code, a way of life. Build where you are, teach what you know, support those who create instead of those who exploit, and never again believe that freedom will be handed to us, because freedom that is given can be taken back. We are the descendants of builders, the bloodline of thinkers, the survivors of centuries. And now we are becoming something greater, the architects of our own destiny. The future belongs to those who believe in it enough to build it. So wherever you are, in the villages of Africa, in the cities of America, in the islands of the Caribbean, stand. Not as followers, not as victims, but as one family reclaiming its place in the world, because the new era of the black world is not a dream, it is a decision, and that decision begins right now with us.